Hey, everybody, it's Scott Steen with winnersandwhiners.com coming to you with the Monday edition of Today in Sports Betting. Happy Monday, everybody. Hope you made it through the weekend okay. Scott, not our best weekend. I know you went to hole up in New Jersey and have a little bet-a-palooza and had better weekends. Would that be a way to describe it?
Yeah, I lost money, but I legally lost money. So read that however you want. Yeah, to be honest, if people were back at my picks, they would know I went 0-5 this weekend. So not exactly a fun time. I don't
Nope.
think I've gone winless in a weekend. I don't even know when the last time I went winless in a weekend was, but didn't work out. I feel like the Boise 13.5 against Hawaii was the cherry on top, summarizing my weekend. But it happens. If you've been betting for a long time, you know that it's a streaky thing sometimes, and it's all about bouncing back and not letting, I'd say, you mentally dwell on what's happened lately. So it happens. Of course, I'd rather it not happen, but we'll look to bounce back, and we usually do. So we'll see what happens.
You got to have a cornerback's mentality when you're a sports bettor, man. You got to rip down the rear view mirror and keep your eyes facing forward. That's all you can do. So happens, and looking forward to rally here. We got some interesting games this week. We got college basketball starting up. So you and I are we're going to do our turkey show tomorrow, Scott. We're going to do the NFL Thanksgiving Day special tomorrow, and then we're going to hit college basketball, whatever's available on the next couple of days. Right now, we've got KU and Gonzaga scheduled for Thanksgiving. Got a full slate of games for Tuesday. We don't have a ton of lines yet, so we'll have to see how that goes. But we're
I mean,
much
Wednesday.
like the rest of the country, especially with sports, we're kind of flying by the seat of our pants here and seeing what happens.
Yeah,
So,
well, I think you misspoke. I think you mean that there's a slew of games for Wednesday, not Tuesday.
what did I say?
You said Tuesday.
Okay, yeah, full slate of games for Wednesday. Correct. But we only have one on the board for right now.
Hopefully, the lines are going to come out for those. It's a full day of college basketball on Wednesday. You have some games starting at 11 all the way through to like 10:30 at night. So
One of my favorite days. One of my
yeah, it's not fully as crazy as some of the preseason tournament schedules they used to have, but which have become fewer and further between because of all the COVID outbreaks and people canceling. But as a whole, college basketball is one of my favorite sports. I'm just happy that it's back, and hopefully, fingers crossed, they can actually play a tournament this time around.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. It's going to be an interesting winter, Scott. An interesting time for college basketball for sure. So, but before all that, we've got a big battle there in the NFC tonight as the Rams travel to the great state of Florida to take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers there at the Big Pirate Ship. Buccaneers 4-point favorite right here. They were kind of been a little bit of movement, Scott. It was 3.5, then it was up to 4.5 yesterday. Now we're settled back down to 4. No juice on either side. What, if anything, do you make of the line movement there?
Well, I definitely think that, of course, people are going to want to tend to back the home team, especially when that involves Tom Brady in a primetime game, which I'm sure a lot of people have short-term memories because they forgot about how well that went against the Saints a couple weeks ago for Tampa Bay. But the Rams are one of those teams that are very successful, but you watch them play, and they're not exactly entertaining to watch, but they're extremely, I'd say, efficient.
Mm-hmm.
Where Goff is the kind of guy who needs to stick to a script. If they end up falling behind or they end up going off brand or off script because of the fact they can't run the ball, Goff completely falls apart. And that's something that I'm sure everyone hasn't noticed at this stage in his career, where that's an issue because Tampa Bay is very good against the run, of course. They haven't been as good lately, but they tend to be pretty good against the run. And the Rams defense completely shut down Russell Wilson last game that they played. They're able to get after the quarterback. Their secondary is still very good. And Brady, as we've seen before, can be really good when he's not pressured. But when he has somebody in his face, he tends to make some mistakes. So the question is, can the Rams' speed and physicality defensively dictate the pace of play for Tampa, or is Brady just going to light him apart with short passing? And that remains to be seen.
Yeah, that is the question, and you are absolutely right as far as Tom Brady facing pressure. In fact, in the 3 losses for Tampa Bay, Tom Brady was sacked 3 times each, and in the 7 wins, he was sacked 5 times total. So it is all about getting pressure on TB12 at this point, whether or not you're able to get him to move. We talk about it a lot on this show. It's all about getting him to move laterally, because at that age, with his mobility, that is certainly not what he does best, and he doesn't throw on the run. Never really has thrown on the run very well. That's not really Tom's thing. He can scramble and set up, but he's not somebody that's going to throw on the run like a Deshaun Watson or Russell Wilson or Patrick Mahomes. And he certainly isn't. He didn't pick up that skill in his 40s. So it's going to be really, to me, it's going to come down to whether or not this Tampa Bay offensive line can keep Tom Brady upright and keep him clean against a pretty ferocious Rams pass rush that ranks second in the league at 3.8 sacks per game. Your thoughts on that?
I think that the Rams should have some success. I know that secondary-wise, anytime you have Jalen Ramsey and company, the main thing about Tampa is that even though Brady has no mobility and he struggles when he gets pressured, they have so many good weapons on the outside that it's all about containing them for at least 3 seconds of play to at least allow your pass rush to get home.
Right.
And Ramsey, I'm still not even sure who's going to be guarding because Tampa has so many good weapons. But the point there is that the Rams have a secondary that should be somewhat capable of matching up with these receivers, at least doing a decent job early on to allow the pass rush to at least pressure Brady. So I think that they're going to have some success. I think that Tampa's going to have to make some adjustments. But for me personally, I do think the Rams will have some success getting after the quarterback in this game.
Does Tampa Bay have anybody as good as any receiver as good as DK Metcalf?
It really depends. Just about at this stage in their careers. You mean?
Yeah, I'm not talking about the AB of 6 years ago.
Yeah, because AB I still don't know because he has looked pretty good on Tampa so far, but there's only one ball and he's still also getting acclimated to the playbook, etc. But I'm curious why you use DK Metcalf as your benchmark there. But
Well, I'll tell you why. Because Jalen Ramsey pretty much shut him down in the 2 times they faced him this year. My guess is he's gonna mostly stay with Mike Evans.
That'd be my guess.
And Mike Evans is one of those guys. He's kind of a prima donna, where if you don't get him involved early, he kind of shuts down on you.
Well, he's also been banged up all year, so you see him constantly in and out of the game, grabbing his leg, etc., because he's not fully healthy. I think Ramsey should be guarding Evans. That'd be my guess, especially in the red zone, because Evans is obviously the biggest red zone threat on the entire team. I think that Ramsey's going to shut down whoever he guards. The only question is who's he going to guard, and if the secondary can stop the other guys.
Yeah, that is the question. To me, I think this is going to be a defensive battle. You've got 2 teams with very good defenses here. You touched on it briefly. Tampa Bay rush defense is number 1 in the NFL. As far as they're number 2 at total yards. They're number 1 at yards per carry, which is what I really like to look at. It's going to be a night where the Rams are going to have to throw the ball just a little bit. I don't think that pass rush of Tampa Bay is going to allow Goff just unlimited time to sit back there and make all of his deep reads. I think it's going to be short possession passes for both of these teams and trying to run the ball as much as they can, because McVay is going to try to show the world how smart he is by being able to run against this Tampa Bay defense. So you figure at least a quarter to a quarter and a half of him running for 2 yards a carry.
Oh, you forgot about all those jet sweeps he's going to throw in with Robert Woods every now and then.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that's I'm not a McVay fan. I'm just going to put it out.
I personally like him because I do think that Goff is pretty limited as a quarterback. Maybe it's just me. I'm extremely low on Goff. I don't know what you think of him. Some people think he's serviceable. Some people think he has upside. I just don't think
he's average. I think he's high. I think he's at 12, 13, 14, somewhere around there.
Okay. I'd have to look at all the quarterbacks. I don't even know if I'd have him that high. But I think that if he had a quarterback that was, in my opinion, just better, I think he would take more shots. But also last year with the offensive line issues, I know it's been good this year, but they tried to let Goff do his own thing last year, and it blew up in their faces. So now they've kind of overcorrected by relying too heavily on the run game, which has worked out so far. So that seems to be the logic behind it. But I like McVay. I think McVay's a good coach. I'm not sure what to think of Bruce Arians. If we're talking about coaches who are considered good but maybe not as good as people think they are, I think McVay's really good. I don't know what to think of Arians because Arians has been an offensive quote-unquote genius for several years. And I look at Tampa this year. I know that there's a lot of new pieces with the shortened offseason, et cetera. That's an excuse that every team could use if they're struggling. The Jets could use that excuse. But looking at Arians, do you feel like something's off with this team? Because I feel like there's just no consistency whatsoever week to week.
They are very choppy, and I think a lot of that. I think a lot of that has to do with Brady. I really do at this point in his career. Let me ask you, Scott, would you rather have Brady this year or Goff?
That's a good question.
I bring the heat, buddy. I
How
bring
good's
the
my receiving core?
What's that?
How good is my receiving core?
They're average. They're the Rams. How about that?
So
I
the
think
Rams,
I think the Rams have an average receiving core.
I think I'd still probably go Brady
Okay.
because I guess hypothetically speaking, there's a certain ceiling there that I don't think that Goff has. I'm not thrilled with either option. I think Brady is, still okay, but he's clearly not the quarterback he used to be, which is completely fine because he's in his 40s.
Right.
But yeah, the issue that you have with Brady, and it's not just Brady, it's any quarterback. If you pressure him, they tend to be worse. And when you can't move, Aaron Donald's coming at you, you're gonna have some problems.
Yeah, I agree. So for this one, I've got a premium play on the side. I do have a pretty strong feeling about this one. But for the total, I did my play of the day on that, and I will kind of touch on that briefly. And I kind of set it up earlier. If you read between the lines, I think it's going to be a defensive struggle. I think points are going to be at a premium. Uh, Market's going away from me right now. It was 48 last night. It's 48.5 today. That's great news for me. Although I doubt it makes it to 49. I think it's going to probably be stuck on 48.5. But if you're interested in playing the under, shop around there. Scott, you see 49 anywhere?
Oh, no, I see 48 and a half
Yeah,
tops.
that's I was afraid of that. So keep an eye on it. If you got some of uh, if you got one of those sites where you can see the different lines, definitely keep an eye on the total if you're interested in playing the under. If you're interested in playing the over, 48.5 ain't a bad time to snag it. Scott, what do you got for this one?
For this one, I feel like we're on the same page here. I'm going to lean to the under at 48 and a half. I think that both teams should get off to slow starts. I think this game might pick up in the second half. But at the end of the day, if, let's just say the Rams end up falling behind, I'm not sure if they will, but if they do I really trust Goff to put up a bunch of big numbers in garbage time? Not really. I just don't think that's what he does as a quarterback. I think both defenses are very physical. They have good secondaries, solid pass rushes. I can see both teams creating some havoc in the backfield, and I do think this game will be on the lower scoring side. I don't want to try to guess a score, but if I had to, I'd say even 24-20. I can see this game being pretty low scoring. But looking at the side, not thrilled with it. I'm going to lean to the Rams. I know money's coming on Tampa. I know that they beat Carolina last week and put up a lot of yards. Congratulations. Carolina's not making the playoffs. The Rams, on the other hand, are a team that seems to be pretty good against bad teams, but against good teams, they tend to struggle a little bit. It's a bit concerning. But I'm going to lean to the Rams. I think this game's going to be very close. I think this game will be decided by field goal late. So I'm going to go with the Rams.
Don't hate that. I've got another prop that I like. I like Fournette under 31.5 yards rushing.
You think they're going to ride Ronald Jones after last week?
I do. I think Jones gets the vast bulk of the carries here. I don't think. I think for Fournette to get to 31.5, I think he needs 7 carries, maybe 6.
Yeah.
And I don't think he gets it. So I just don't think. I don't think he runs the ball 7 times from scrimmage. So unless he snaps one off, which is always possible. But yeah, I like Fournette under 31.5 there for a little bonus prop. Scott, real quick, what do you think of the? What did you think of the Chiefs last night? Are they just missing something? Is something just not quite right with this team?
Does something include a defense or no?
Yeah, I mean that's always been their.
I also think the Raiders are pretty good. Like, I'm not going to immediately sell them short. I think the Raiders are a good football team. Now, both teams suffer from the same issue, which I just said. They don't play any defense, which is a problem.
Yeah.
Especially for Kansas City, who I know that they can score.
The Chiefs have a top 5 scoring defense in the NFL.
Wait, what?
They have a top 5 scoring defense in the NFL. You would never guess that.
I'm saying that when you watch them play, I know that Mahomes can basically score a touchdown every drive. You got to stop somebody at some point, especially when you're playing against a potential Pittsburgh team in the AFC Championship game who, I mean, their defense is next level stuff. So I do think Kansas City is still the favorite to win the AFC. And I think the Raiders are still very good. But at the end of the day, you're going to have to stop somebody at some point.
I'll tell you, as a Chiefs fan, I don't want any part of this Raiders team in the playoffs. I'm ready to be done with them for the year. That's about all I need of them. I don't.
Well, the AFC wildcard's turning into a serious race. They might not even get in. But this
Yeah.
Raiders team, though, they're good. This team's good.
Yeah, Baltimore 6-4. The Raiders sitting at 6-4.
All the Colts and Titans. Oh, not really the Colts, more the Titans right now.
Yeah.
They're fighting it out. Browns. A lot of teams in the mix.
Yeah, should be fun to see ultimately what happens. You got three pretty fair teams there in the North with the Browns and the Ravens, and of course the Steelers. They're still undefeated. So should be a fun coming down the home stretch here. So yeah, I was just kind of curious to get your thoughts on the game yesterday. So
My thought was that it was a great game.
Yeah.
Raiders definitely answered everything punch for punch. It was kind of similar to the first game, except for the fact that the Chiefs got the better end of it. But the games were competitive throughout. Raiders defense at times had a little bit of success against Mahomes. He threw an interception in both games. But Derek Carr, him and Gruden work. And I know that they've had a rocky relationship so far. I don't think people can really argue about it right now. Derek Carr looks like a legitimate quarterback in this current system.
no
Their
question.
defense isn't good. Chiefs defense isn't good. But at the end of the day, you got Bellum, you got Bieniemy, and you got Reed. You tend to win some of these close games.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. And for the record, the pick that Mahomes threw last night, 100% not his fault. So
No, I'm just throwing it out there that the 2 interceptions Mahomes has had this season have come against the Raiders.
yeah, now the other one was a bad pick, but
Yeah.
last night that's totally on. That's 100% on Robinson not coming back for the ball. But anyway, that is what it is. I know as a Chiefs fan, it was fun to watch. They're an exciting team. It's still like you can't believe that that's really your quarterback. And believe me, I feel your pain there watching the Jets.
They got eliminated from the playoffs. First team to be eliminated.
Nice. All right. So you know what? That's going to do it for the show. So what's your final play is going to be? You leaning towards the under and the Rams in this one.
Yeah, I'm leaning to the Rams and the under. I just think this game's going to be very, very close. The issue I have with Tampa is that they're just so inconsistent that I don't really know if I can lay a number like this when they beat a Carolina team last week. Defensively, they got shut out against Detroit. Detroit's entire receiving core is injured. They're missing Swift, who's their best running back. A lot of injuries there, but I don't think Carolina's pass defense is very good, and Brady exploited that. But I think when they face good teams, you've seen Brady be extremely limited, and I think that that's going to be the case in this one.
Very good. All right, and I've got the under as well, and then of course premium pick on the side. So if you want interest in that, make sure you check out my premium plays. You can do them for a day, you can do them for a week, do them for a month, whatever you want to do. We're good, and we've been rolling pretty good. We've been good on our play of the day. Went 6-1 last week on our play of the day. The only game we missed was the absolute jobbing that we took in that Minnesota Golden Gophers game, where we had.
You're telling me you didn't think the pass interference was legitimate?
We had Purdue over 31, my friend. At 31.5. That call was not my friend. I had a premium on Purdue, and I had a play of the day for free on the Purdue over 31. So. No, I was not thrilled with that call, and it was an absolutely bogus call.
It was a terrible call. It was one of the worst calls I've seen. I know that college has a lot of really bad calls because you have so many games and so many referees that are somehow even worse than the NFL. That call was awful, and there's really no way around it. I don't even know what the guy was looking at. He didn't do anything.
No, absolutely nothing. So
No.
Anyway, so we're running pretty good. I know you've been running pretty good. So if you're interested in more of our picks,
I have not been running pretty well.
well, I'm not talking about this
over the last week. As a whole, yes. But the past week, it was not a good week last week.
All right. Well, that's why you got me. That's what when one of us stumbles, the other one picks him up.
I'm just saying. You said I was running pretty well, and I acknowledge that people back in my plays would agree that is not the case.
I knew you weren't running well for the weekend. I was talking about more of the macro the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, overall it's been fine. I can't say that it's been insanely good, insanely bad. It's been fine, but the last week definitely wasn't the best. But it happens. We'll have to bounce back.
That's it. There you go. All right, my friend, that's it for today, and that's going to do it for our show. If you're looking for the deepest dive anywhere on the internet, check out winnersandwhiners.com. I'll say it every day, or I'll say it every week at least. No one does a more thorough breakdown of the Monday and Thursday night games anywhere for free, for money. You can't pay for it, and it's an incredible piece of work that they do over there. So do yourself a favor, check that out on winnersandwhiners.com. You can check me and Scott on our personal videos every day. And of course, we do the show every day here where we're going to break down just about every game on the board. Our only exception is going to be college basketball or college football, where we take our top 3. But other than that, we're pretty much doing every game on the board every week. So that's always fun. Make sure you check that out as well. Appreciate you guys watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Let us know what you're playing. Drop it in the comment section, etc., etc. And yeah, that's going to do it for myself, for Scott Reichel, for all of us over here at Winners and Winers. Hope every one of those tickets in your pocket turns into cash money back at the window. You guys are great. Couldn't do it without you. Come back and see us tomorrow. We'll be looking for you then on Today in Sports Betting. Take care, everybody.